are going to demonstrate the fecal counting procedure right now. We wrote an SOP, we specified what all of the materials that you need for doing this procedure are. And so you're going to have to refer to that for the things that you need. And the first step is going to be, we're going to weigh out 4 grams of poop. And it's going to be Frankie's poop. And then we're going to add 26 mils of the flotation media. We'll talk about that more in a minute. To 26 mils, so the final volume will be 30 mils. Okay. So the scale was listed in the materials section. I'm going to tear out the cup so the weight is 0. Good idea. Come over here. So on this scale, you're just going to put the cup on there. You're going to tear it to 0. So that tears out the weight of the cup. And then this is Frankie's poop, and we need to weigh out 4 grams of the poop.
Oh, 4.0.
Okay. All right, so there's our 4 grams of poop. I'm going to throw the poop away, and I want to get rid of these gloves because I want to. Okay, and then for the flotation media, you can either use pickling salt, Epsom salt, or sucrose. We chose Epsom salt, which is magnesium sulfate. If you choose to use sodium chloride, you're going to have to use pickling sodium chloride. We were at Walmart, we picked it up, it was fine. But the point to make is that if you choose this one, you're supposed to weigh out 126 grams magnesium sulfate, and then you bring it up to a total volume of 500 mils, okay? And so you can't just add 500 mils plus 126 grams, you're gonna be over a total volume of 500 mils because of the density of this stuff, okay? It's heavy and it takes up space. So we had a 500 mil Packer cup is what it used to be, and it had a 500 mil gradient marking on it, so we were able to use this. So that is what you're going to want to do, is you're going to want to find some way you're going to weigh out 126 grams of the Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate. You're going to put it into a container that you can bring up to a finished volume of 500 mils. That's what we did here. Okay, so I'm using, I've got the 4 grams of poop, and I'm going to bring it up to a total of 30 grams with this here disposable transfer pipette. Can they see? You could say weight to volume. Oh, 30. Okay. 30 is where we want to end at, and that's in the SOP. Okay. So there we are. I'm going to get rid of the... Okay, and now what they tell you to do, you're getting all this, you have to, like, the poop is all kind of clumped up, and break it all up. Man, there's a lot they don't digest. And now what you want to do is you want to take a, it's just a 4x4 gauze pad, and we only want to do 1 thickness. So let's take 1 gauze pad, and that's what the second cup is for. Okay, so we'll put the gauze. So all this poop that we just reconstituted, making sure it's really well mixed, we're going to pour it through 1 layer of cheesecloth. Well, it's not cheesecloth, it's gauze, whatever. In the lab, we just call it cheesecloth. You can, the stuff we found in the literature says that you can do it through like a screen, like a strainer, if you want to, that's fine. It just seems like they want you to try to get like all of the volume out that's possible to get out. So you can use Oh, and the popsicle stick, or the tongue depressor, whatever you want to call it, I accidentally forgot to put that on the materials list. I think we got these at Walmart in like the crafting aisle, so they're pretty easy to find. It's just I forgot to put that on the materials list. And you can squeeze it if you want. Yes, indeed, my hands are full of poop now. I don't really care. Okay, so the next step is, I think we're done with the scale, right?
Yep.
Okay. So get rid of the scale. And then the next
Keep
step.
that well stirred
Before I do it, okay. Yeah. And then this is the McMaster plate, and it's got 2 chambers, 1 and 2. And so what they're going to ask you to do is to fill up each chamber, and then it has a grid line, and you're gonna like hone in on those grid lines when you look under the microscope, and you're gonna kind of start at one end, and you're gonna read like 1, 2. There's like 5 columns in each chamber, in each side. And I thought it was going to be a lot harder to know where you were at when you start counting these, but it turns out like it really wasn't. If you start, like there's guidelines that say like always do it the same each time. So like say like if I'm going to start on the chamber on the left, I'm going to start on the column on the left, and I'm going to read down and up and down and up and down and up. And then that way, and you're gonna really be able to see. I don't know if they can.
Yeah, you can see the grid lines.
Should I put like a background? Like here's the white background. I don't know if that helps to see the grid lines.
Yeah, you can kind of see the grid lines there.
Okay, so this plate is in blue, and I was really worried about being able to know where I was at reading the plate, but then once I started, you can see all of the lines, and it really is not a lot of trouble to know where you're at and to be able to read the whole plate. You're going to want to read both sides, like chamber 1 and chamber 2. And then when you go to tally up your results, you're going to take like your final count, and you're going to multiply that by 25. That's going to be your eggs per gram, okay? So we're going to do that now. And so I'll put this back down. And then, I don't know if this background is easy to see. It might be easier if I put like the white cotton gauze behind it.
That'll be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we reconstituted this poop, and the most important thing is to make sure that it's really mixed well and you're getting a good representative sample. So that's why I'm just kind of swirling it. I'm going to draw it up, and the most important thing here is don't get any air in your transfer pipette, and then you're going to fill that whole chamber. Okay, and if you can make sure you draw it up that you don't get any air in there. If like you see here, like the tip has air, so I'm just gonna like squeeze a little bit with my thumb. I'm gonna fill up the whole pipette tip, and this is really the most important part. And keep the tension with your thumb pushing, so that when you go to fill up the chamber in the plate, do you see how I don't have any air in there at all? Oops, so it's on top. I don't have bifocal, so it's hard for me to see. And I think I got an air in, and I did. I kind of messed it up because I was talking about it. So I'm gonna redo it. That's okay. I'm just gonna mix. So I'm gonna remix. And I'm gonna fill up the whole chamber. See, there's one big air bubble in there right there. You can see it, which is fine. I'm gonna draw it right back up. I'm gonna get it back up out of the tip. And that's the problem with training, is that you're talking about it at the same time that you're trying to do it. But that's okay, because then people can see that too. So I'm going to just flood the whole thing at this point. No, I'm glad that I put the thing underneath. So so you're not going to be talking while you're doing it. And so you're not going to get an air bubble in there like I just did. And then I'm just going to try to, whatever's on the surface, I'm going to just try to pick that all up. And so we still have an air bubble in there, so that's a little bit less than ideal. I'm not really sure.
Not too bad though. I mean, it's just one air bubble.
Yeah, but it's a pretty big one. So I don't really like that. So what I'm going to try to do now, like if I wasn't talking to try to demonstrate, I wouldn't have gotten it. But like again, like I'm filling my whole tip. I'm going to try to just push it out by flooding it. which is fine. I can. There.
Ooh.
Oops. Okay, we got poop on the floor. Not a big deal. I'm gonna just
And more
push.
bubbles.
All right, that's good.
Yeah,
Actually, this is a
that's
good
already
demonstration
great now.
because now I've kind of shown everybody how if you get an air bubble in there, I've just shown like how you can displace the air bubble by just the force of. I've got poop all over the place. That's all right. We don't care. It's only horse poop, right? We'll disinfect later. So what you're trying to get here is you're trying to get both sides of the chamber filled without any air bubbles.
And that has to sit like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, it's been 5 minutes, and now we're back. We'll demonstrate how to set this up on the microscope. So, of course, the first thing is to get your slide onto the stage. So it's all nice and straight so you can count the columns accurately. Turn on your light source, and then what you're supposed to do is at the lowest magnification, the 4x, which it's on now, you do the rough focus until you can see the lines. The column lines are pretty easy to see once you get them in focus. Then you turn it to your 10x, which is the magnification that you're going to read it at. So get it to 10x, do the fine focusing, and then just start counting. Find one edge. I'm going to go left to right, but you find one edge of the grid lines and go up the column, then down the next. You count all of the eggs that you see. We're only counting the strong isle eggs. You might see other ones in there, or air bubbles or whatever, but we don't count those. Apparently it's hard to characterize the load based on the number of eggs that you find. So the strong isle ones are the ones that we're worried about. After this video, Lisa and I both counted. Lisa counted 53 eggs. I counted 56 eggs, which puts Frank at a high shutter. It's about 1,400. Just for comparison, when we did Bell, we counted 1 egg in both chambers combined. So quite a difference. Putting up a picture of what the eggs look like, and they look just like this through the microscope. You can see the arrows pointing to the strong isle egg there, and it's 80 to 90 micrometers. If you have a micrometer in your telescope, you can see what the size is. Or ours has a pointer in it that is a known size, so you can compare it. That's it.